Going to call this meeting of the Insurance and Labor Committee to order. I want to thank the Committee on Assignments for giving me this responsibility and thank the members that are here on time. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully this will be a quick meeting. Want to welcome our new members. Senator Merritt, glad to have you. I'm not going to say old members, but the rest of the folks, at least in the room here, are folks that have been on this committee before. So appreciate y'all's coming back to me. Want to thank our staff. Look forward to working with them this year. Of course, Ryan is from our office, and Alexa Hernandez is her chief backup, and Cammie with Senate Press. Delighted to have you. James Beal has been on this committee before, so he's well experienced, as is Vince from Ledge Council. So thank y'all for keeping me out of trouble. That's a very, 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 very difficult job. Couple of items of business. Subcommittees. Senator Walker is going to chair what I'm calling a general insurance subcommittee, and Senator Harbin and Senator Harbison, if y'all would help him on that subcommittee. And the other subcommittee I'm calling Health and Workman's Comp, and Chairman Watson is going to chair that. And Senator Sims and Senator Robertson are going to help him in those areas. And we do have some rules that we need to adopt. I don't think there's any significant amount of changes from last year, and most of these are fairly standard for what we've done in the past and what we've seen in other committees. Does anybody have any questions about those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the rules. We have a motion from Senator Harbison. I have a second. Senator Kirkpatrick, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting rules, please raise your hand and keep them up so that we can count them. Thank you very much. Obviously, it's unanimous. Appreciate that. Last item of business, I want to introduce our commissioner who's taken the time out of his busy schedule to come at this inaugural meeting of this committee, and we look forward to working with you during this this year. I want to thank you, obviously, for your service to your country as well as to the state of Georgia. I know you've been doing a lot of COVID and corona-based work all over the country, and I know you're representing Georgia in a very great way. I want to give you a few minutes to address the committee if you'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I've worked with several of y'all last year, but I want to reintroduce myself to this committee. My name is John King. I'm Georgia's Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner. Kind of want to introduce myself. The governor appointed me last July, 2019. Well, it wasn't last July. It was, boy, this year has gone very quick. So, you know, my background is not in insurance. My background was a chief of police at Doraville in DeKalb County, and I'm a military officer. But this is about problem solving at this stage. You know, initially I came into this role with not a lot of insurance background, but I will assure you I have been learning a great deal in the last, 19 months now? Is that? I'm losing track of how long we've been at this, but a great deal of that education has been as a result of the relationship that I have with this committee and its members. And I appreciate the amount of time you took to help me to run this agency a lot better than it had been run in quite so long time. And I feel a kinship to this committee because many of y'all have spent a lot of time explaining the purpose of legislation, and it was easy to get on board to try to draft good quality laws to protect Georgia consumers. And at the end of the day, that's what we're in the business of. So I appreciate y'all's time and efforts to help me be the best commissioner of insurance that Georgia's had. I enjoyed doing this. I mean, the federal government has deployed me a couple times to bring a DoD whole of government approach to dealing with COVID. So I've spent a lot of time recently in the Navajo Nation in northern New Mexico, Arizona, and in the state of California because they were in deep trouble. They lost all ICU capacity in several weeks because they shut down their communities, but the COVID was still there when they tried to reopen, and so it was quite an education to see how other states are doing the response. But I tell you, there's few states that are doing it as well. And it's rough, but very few states are doing it as well as Georgia. We don't get the credit, and it doesn't matter who gets the credit. The fact is we're taking care of Georgians. Some of the areas that I want to talk to you all just briefly about the goals that I have for our agency is to really focus on taking care of our consumers, being a consumer, making sure that we have people on the phone that can pick up the phone and answer, because obviously the insurance industry is a very complicated industry, and most consumers get very frustrated very quickly. And we want to have an agency that's responsive to consumers and is there to answer questions, especially the complicated, and also be the advocate of consumers with insurance companies. Some of the areas that you all helped me last year in getting our agency up to speed on being able to transform a great deal of our agency into where we call IT friendly, where people could do a lot of the work remotely. And so being able to deal with agent licensing, and I know we're looking forward to working with this committee on making sure that we tighten up some of the rules and regulations to making sure that we have a more responsive, because obviously, as you can imagine, in the middle of this crisis, we're going to start seeing fraud coming back into the forefront as we start coming out of COVID. And I look forward to working. Please don't let, if you have a question, please don't hesitate. My key person here is Weston Burleson. He's my key staff member that deals with your committee. Please, no question. I want to make sure that when you craft legislation, it is quality legislation, that it meets the intent that what you're trying to achieve. And so we want to be responsive to your questions so you have quality legislation. I know my role in the form of government that we are in Georgia. You all craft the legislation. I carry it and implement it out, and I want to make sure that we all have quality legislation that meets your intent. I want to be approachable. Whatever please, Weston will give you my phone number. Don't hesitate to call. I know that Dr. Kirkpatrick is a repeat offender, and I don't mind answering. And Dr. Watson doesn't call me as much, but he's not shy about calling me as well. But I want to offer this to the entire committee, because I am your insurance commissioner. It's about making sure that we do the right thing for y'all. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to introduce myself and talk a little bit about our priorities of our small little agency. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, thank you for your service. And just to the members, it's been my policy as a committee chairman through the years to make sure the agency has a voice. And when we have legislation before this committee, we certainly will be getting their input on it, because they are the agency that'll have to enforce those laws that we pass. And I think it's only fair for them to have kind of a early seat at the table to make sure that the laws we pass are do what they're intended to do, and unfortunately sometimes not what their unintended consequences are. So thank you for that, and I'll thank Weston for being responsive on those sorts of issues so our committee can run efficiently. So is there any other business before this committee? We've already got a handful of bills. I do anticipate probably having a couple at least assigned to subcommittee, if nothing else, between now and next week, and look forward to working with all of you. Appreciate your being here on time, and we'll continue with our rest of our day. Thank you for being here. This meeting's adjourned.